Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we're gonna check out some very impressive 6-star rank 3 Tigra gameplay, and the Tigra is one of those champions that just seem to be extremely satisfying to watch. She's also a champion that is very difficult to master, and I started talking about Tigra with Vintage in chat, who is a person who sent over these videos to me through lineup. So first and foremost, huge thank you to him, and he has taken his Tigra to rank 3, and he's doing a lot of cool stuff. And first fight might not be so cool, so impressive, but he also sent me solos of every Cavalier difficulty boss, and that is, in fact, at least in my book, quite impressive. But first, what I was impressed about here is, because this is a real length fight, so with Suicide Masteries active, Tigra absolutely whooped down that Winter Soldier in under a minute, which is a crazy fast time. So Tigra has that huge damage discrepancy, because if you play her right, she can do a lot of damage. A lot of that damage won't necessarily result in huge yellow numbers, but all of the extra damage from raptures, from when she's triggering effects, from her huntress mode, and all of the other stuff do add up to a very significant damage output. And she's one of those champions that definitely suffer from a lack of huge yellow numbers for people to notice how hard she really hits. But you gonna have to take me on my word that there aren't many 6-star rank 3 champions who can take down like Winter Soldier fight in like under a minute. And yeah, Tigra has her damage in check if you do have a matchup where you can play her well, because that is another thing, that the way you play Tigra significantly depends from what opponent you're going up against, what special attacks you cannot punish, so on and so forth. But now we have moved on to the champion solo, because yeah, champion is another huge milestone fight in Marvel Quest of Champions. Now he has been changed, he has been made significantly easier, but still the manner that Tigra got this champion down to 10% is just very satisfying, definitely quite impressive to watch. And I don't want to make a habit of showcasing other people's gameplay on my channel, or I really don't like showcasing, and I don't upload any other people openings on my channel and stuff like that. But sometimes when something is kind of like truly impressive, truly enjoyable, I do make an exception, and this video and this performance, if you can call it like that, with Tigra is definitely noteworthy and impressive. And I just had to show it, because yeah, I do like it a lot. Tigra is one of those champions where I might not necessarily have fully jumped down Tigra's train myself. I do want to rank up a Tigra at some point, whether my 5-star, whether my unduped 6-star. Obviously, I would prefer to rank up my 6-star, but she's not quite my top priority option at the moment, and she's unduped, and I would really want my Tigra to be duped, because I do think that for every single short to medium level fight she does need her awakened ability, because she immediately can start with both of her modes active, and that can speed up the fight significantly. But yeah, now we have another very kind of cool fight from Incursions, and after this one we're gonna have all of the Cavalier difficulty boss fights, all 6 of them. We're gonna go through them one by one, and all of them are awesome, man. Tigra can do some beastly things, and yeah, it's just a pleasure to watch. So Pyramid X, we can see that she misses all of her special attacks. Like, to be fair, Storm Pyramid X level 1 is not the hardest one to dex, but still at the same point, just never having to bother about that is very enjoyable as well. And another subtle thing that you could have noticed there is that throwing a light attack once the special attack animations have started already will often help you with your positioning and spacing on the screen. In addition to that, here we saw that he held his heavy attack longer and didn't release it immediately after the special attack. It's kind of like another tip I could give personally, even though I'm definitely nowhere close to as good of a player with Tigra as Vintage is. I definitely yeah, I have my ways to go. I'm not gonna say that I'm awful with her because I have used her quite a bit, but I can't seem to do it nowhere near as consistent as he can. So anyways, here's that Iron Patriot, and one of the most annoying things about this Iron Patriot was definitely that powerful from afar node when he refused to throw special attacks, but Tigra pretty much absolutely ignores that node by placing that, what is it, neutralize on Iron Patriot, and he pretty much never gets that power gain if you dash out of range while the neutralize is active. Now there was another kind of like low-key baller pro move executed by Fintesh where he released his heavy attack and he realized the reach wasn't quite there, but then he activated his special attack, and that is a lot safer to do than with most champions because Tiger's special attacks become unblockable midway through as well. So even if you do not have timing or spacing perfectly clear, if you can kind of like cancel out your mistake, if you can call it like that, it might not even be a mistake, it can be planned, and you can still kind of like connect from a large distance by charging heavy attack in order to be able to face those projectile special attacks, and then just chain into special attack in order to land your hits guaranteed, as we can see he did here again. Another cool thing you can do against Red Goblin is that you do have time to dash back in after those beams, obviously not with Tiger, but in general, just like a small tip. After the beams, you do have time to dash back in and then evade that pumpkin bomb, and that is a very cheeky way how you can actually punish Green Goblin's level 1 if you don't want to kind of like fully dex it. But yeah, you have a space there in between the last laser hit and that pumpkin bomb to run in at Green Goblin. And so here we can see he's again chaining special attack from his heavy attack whenever you do have any kind of like problems with that spacing. And the coolest thing about Tigra, in my opinion, is that very long-reaching multi-hit heavy attack, and the fact that you can go into your heavy attack after a special attack safely if opponent's under bar power, and the fact that you can go into your special attack from a heavy attack. So it's kind of like very fluid motion. Like when I personally play Tiger, it's actually quite hard for me to transition to using normal combos when I have to, because you always kind of instinctively want to pretty much abuse that heavy attack and the heavy attack mechanic and then go from special attack to special attack and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of like one thing where I personally have to work on Tiger more. You can see that he's still ripping in that Goblin. Once again, he releases a heavy attack. Spacing isn't quite there, so he chains in a special attack and immediately goes for another special attack after the heavy attack. And definitely very high skill cap there. You must be able to think on your feet. You must be able to control spacing. You must be able to notice many things during the fight, like where you're at, where's your power bar, where's opponent's power bar, what can you do, when can you charge a heavy attack, when can't. And it's kind of like the beauty of Tiger, in my opinion, but also ultimately it will also serve as a reason why Tigra is not likely ever going to be like a meta champion, because there is a high level of finesse and high level of skill required for you to play Tigra to her fullest. And I just don't think objectively that an average player will ever be able to reach a point where you can do that consistently. So I think Tigra is great design of a character. Not every champion has to be like flat out completely OP and stuff like that. Even though Tigra has very high ceiling of her ability, it's also kind of like hidden against high ceiling of skill cap. And it's not an awful thing. It's just unfortunately one of those things that pretty much ensure that champions like Taskmaster, for instance, are also heavily slept on. Even though obviously Taskmaster is quite an old champion, and we have since seen a lot more champions that just, well, quite frankly, objectively are better, like Nick Fury and Aegon. But quite honestly, Taskmaster, for a time when he was released, he was one of the better available skill champions in game, and hardly anybody used him just because he was not easy to use and he was bugged as well and whatnot. there. We did appear to have some glitch over there, but you can see that this Gwen pool is pretty much over. And you must also appreciate how quick these fights are, because all of these are stacked Cavalier event difficulty bosses with a lot of health going on for them. 375k cable here, for instance. So it's nearly Realm of Legends length fight, slightly under that. And she closes those fights out extremely quickly. So here we're starting with pretty much half a health bar. If my guess is correct, that this should actually be a very favorable matchup for Tigra, because all of the cable's specials are projectiles. So you should be able to work that out quite well. And yeah, just spam your heavy attacks with no days end, stack those raptures, and all of these beams. Now, you do have to be careful when you go for your heavy attack after phasing those special attacks. One of the hardest things I personally find with Tigra, with these projectile attacks, frequently they are started off with a non-projectile hit. And when I'm in a mindset of having to phase a special attack, I often catch myself wanting to charge a heavy attack too early and get hit by the non-projectile part of the special attack. So that again is one of the things that you just kind of have to override your basic, I don't know, instinct, what you're accustomed to do, I suppose. But once I assume I'm still definitely not there, I'm nowhere near as good of a player with Tigra as Fintesh is. As when you get past that, and you can do some very, very awesome things. I do like Tigra a lot. It's definitely one of those champions where I need to stop being lazy and I need to learn her a bit more. But now we're gonna get to the really, really fun matchups, because now we have this crazy red goblin with crazy nodes, and I do know that some people are struggling with him, and he is tricky to evade special attacks and all that other stuff. And now Tiger is just absolutely gonna shred this guy, because why not, right? So go in. This matchup actually does have several nodes that Tiger likes a lot, because it has the flux dispersal, and it has that another node where basically you do need to land a lot of heavy attacks. And so it's pretty much custom made for Tiger in some of these circumstances. And yeah, so here we can see that 30 hits in the fight. He's already pretty much halfway down. And he's dropping a level 2, of whom all of Tiger can just phase through, then chain into a special attack after heavy attack, and happy days pretty much, right? So again, he's gonna drop that level 1. The phase works. Punish with heavy attack. Why not go for a level 1 of your own to refresh those modes that Tiger has? Phase another level 1 and just go and swiftly punish it with a double heavy attack. Now here I did find it interesting, because Falter is active, but it didn't really falter anything, I believe. But hey, who knows what exactly happened there. But the fight is over, and it didn't take long, and it certainly looked pretty much effortless. And that is, again, one of the most beautiful things about Tiger, because when you play her well, it seems effortless. It seems so smooth. The fight itself seems like very elegant. It's not clunky. It's just very fast-paced, very aggressive. There seemed to have been some sort of lag spike again in the recording. And now Cosmic Ghost Rider, so the final boss of Cavalier difficulty. And she's absolutely going to melt the guy as well, because obviously if Cosmic Ghost Rider can't get his buffs, he's significantly less dangerous. And if you can phase through all of his special attacks, then you have very little to worry about in this fight. So he's going again for a plethora of heavy attacks here. So I think he wants to bait out a special attack there in order to phase it. Yeah, so here he does. He phases the level 1, unleashes a heavy attack, chains into special attack, and goes into another heavy attack, because why not, right? So now he has started stacking the raptures up, and he drops another special. And we can see that that Cosmic Ghost Rider is already halfway down, 45 hits in. So certainly, again, fairly quick match, and definitely no kind of like issues there with damage output. Phasing yet another special attack and unleashing the heavy attack, chaining into a special. And it just seems like pretty much an effortless, endless loop, but obviously it does require a lot more skill than initially seems, and it does require a lot of practice to be able to play Tigra to such level. But that is pretty much it for today's video, so I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, hit like, hit sub, and all the other stuff. See ya!